All right. Hey, folks, it's Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. Time to get this show started. All right. Hey, and good morning, everybody. It's Sherman Ray, and this is the Livin in Vegas podcast. I want to welcome you all to the show today. We come to you Monday through Friday. We talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas, and today we've got a lot of celebrations today, and so we're going to talk about a couple of the celebrations that are happening today that generally don't happen at the same time. So we're kind of juggling hats here. Also, there was a story yesterday. There was an anniversary yesterday that we did not talk about. Because I tell you the truth, nobody ever talks about it. I never even remember about it. I was here in Vegas at the time, and so we're going to talk a little bit about an event that happened 34 years ago yesterday. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be pretty interesting. I want to welcome all of our friends on Facebook who are joining us on our Facebook group page, our Livin in Vegas business page. I want to welcome you all to the show this morning, and chime in if you're there, which is great. I know during the day there's a lot of people who watch the show during the day. I mean, all day long they just kind of pop in and they watch it. I look at the end of the day just how many people are watching the show on a daily basis, and I am just very enthralled with it. I really encourage you, if you don't get a chance to watch the show in its entirety, or if you don't get to watch the show, on Facebook or something like that, or on YouTube, you can go to our website. Just go to livininvegas.com. You can actually watch the entire show. So we broadcast the entire show on our website, of course. And so I want to welcome all the folks that are joining us on Livin Weekly. So Livin Weekly is another page that we have, and that we'll talk a little bit. We're going to actually talk a little bit more about Livin Weekly today. But let's actually start talking a little bit about Livin in Vegas magazine. And for those of you, this might be your first time checking out the show. I'm the publisher of Livin in Vegas magazine, and also we published Livin Weekly magazine. Here, let's put the picture up there. Yeah. And we publish Livin Weekly magazine also. That will actually come out tomorrow. So Livin Weekly comes out. Oh, there it goes. Livin Weekly comes out tomorrow. So you can check that out. Got some really cool stories. Got a story about a Vegas icon in the Livin Weekly magazine. Shelly Stepanek wrote a real cool story about this. I mean, this guy, when she asked me about it, she said, "Sure, I've got the story," because I went and saw this show, and I said, "Well, it's not on the strip, but the person who does the show is an icon. Has been here forever. So you're going to want to check that out tomorrow." Both of Livin in Vegas, Livin Weekly, you can actually get either one of them, folks. All you've got to do is actually send me your email. Just get on our mailing list, and you can send that to info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com, and we'll get you on our mailing list, which means you'll get these automatically. Okay, you'll get these automatically. We encourage you to subscribe to Livin in Vegas magazine or Livin Weekly magazine. So either one of these, either Livin in Vegas, Livin Weekly. And so people are saying, well, what's the difference between them? Well, Livin in Vegas magazine, it's a quarterly magazine. It's a huge magazine. It's a much bigger magazine. And Livin Weekly, I tell you, folks have just said, look, we want more of this all the time. We want it all the time. And so that's why we came out with Livin Weekly magazine. So it works out good. But either way, get on our mailing list to get your copy of Livin in Vegas magazine or Livin Weekly magazine, and you will check that out. So today we were saying that this is a special. You can bring that down now if you want. Okay. Special day today. Today is actually Cinco de Mayo. Okay. So there's a couple of days. So we'll talk about both of them. So the first celebration is actually Cinco de Mayo. Yay, Cinco de Mayo. So Cinco de Mayo, the celebration of uh, Mexico being able to overrun. It was a major battle that they were up against, and overwhelming odds, the Mexicans were able to to win a battle. Okay, and it's funny, and the only reason why I'm stuttering on this, folks, and the only reason why I'm just kind of just so unfamiliar with this is because one of the things here in America, we celebrate things a lot different than what they celebrate around the world. So this is not Mexican Independence Day. Okay, so Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. Okay, that's a different day. We celebrate it. We celebrate Cinco de Mayo as Independence Day, but it is actually not. So it's the celebration of a battle that was won, but it's actually not Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo is not a celebrate. Sorry, my camera's really screwed up there. But Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. We have a huge Hispanic population here in the Valley, and so it's appropriate that and Las Vegas is Hispanic for the Meadows, so it's really appropriate that we definitely celebrate Cinco de Mayo. A lot of festivities going on, a lot of cool things going on, and we're going to leave a link to it on our website at livininvegas.com, so you can check that out. And you definitely want to make sure that you get out there and just say, hey, tip your hats off to just a dynamic people who do some cool things in the Valley. Okay, we'll be back in a second, folks, and we'll talk a little bit more about other events that are going on here in Las Vegas. Okay, we'll be right back. Hi, everybody. It's Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast. Are you a business owner that's looking to get the word out about his product, service, or even just a great message out there? Well, we'd like to give you that opportunity by being a guest on Livin in Vegas podcast. It's super simple. All you've got to do is contact us at advertising@livininvegas.com. That's advertising@livininvegas.com, and we'll schedule you for an interview on Livin in Vegas podcast. I'm Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we talk about the people, the places, the trends, and the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Yeah, I'll tell you, and that's really cool. So we've actually had, matter of fact, if you watched the show last week, we had a real cool guest that was on the show. Her name was Sincere. As a matter of fact, today she's actually got a new album that's coming out. So we're very excited for her that she's got some cool things going on. But you can definitely be on the show. Love to have you out. As a matter of fact, we're going to be taping a new segment for a dear friend of mine who is a movie producer. She's a director, she's a writer, she's an actress, and an award-winning filmmaker. And so we're going to be taping a segment this afternoon, as a matter of fact. I'm very excited about that. So also, folks, there is, today is one of the, if not the oldest celebration in America, one of the oldest celebrations in America, and it's the National Day of Prayer. Yeah. The National Day of Prayer. This is no big deal. I mean, this is not small stuff here. The National Day of Prayer is an annual day of observance held on first Thursday of May. Just so happens it hits this year on Cinco de Mayo. Designated by the U.S. Congress when people are asked to turn to God in prayer and meditation. As a matter of fact, the president is required by law to sign a proclamation each year encouraging all Americans to pray on this day. So this is a big day, and it used to be a lot bigger. I mean, I'm really kind of surprised that it's not as big as it used to be. But we talk about it. I mean, that's kind of what we do. I mean, it's kind of our wheelhouse. There are how many events today? and we'll post this on our because we're going to post this on our website here pretty quick because many of you probably want to see where this is at. There are going to be celebrations or observances on City Hall here in Las Vegas, in North Las Vegas. We'll definitely get those up here pretty soon because they're going to be starting here at like 10 o'clock. Grant Sawyer Building. There's going to be stuff going on in Henderson, and a couple of area churches. There are going to be things going on. And this, you can find this information. We'll leave a link to where you can find the information too. So today is the National Day of Prayer, where people are called to prayer and fasting. One of the first presidents who actually spoke about this was John Adams. So it's not like this just started a week ago. No, this started like in 1775. It's been a long time. America is a praying nation, and so that's kind of what we do. It's very cool. So once again, we'll leave this on our website at livininvegas.com, and you can actually check this out. The links to if you want to go to some of the events that are out there. For those of you who've been trying to go out to Allegiant Stadium and you're going, well, they won't let me out there because I don't have my COVID shots and I don't have, a double boosted. Allegiant Stadium has basically said we're no longer requiring people to go to have vaccinations starting next year, and that's for the Raiders. So the Raiders basically said, look, we're not going to require that anymore. They did for the 21-22 season, but not now going forward. In an email to season ticket holders sent Wednesday, the team said they will be dropping that requirement. Masks, here's another one. Masks will not be required either. Pretty cool. So I know, and of course, I tell people this all the time. I got vaccinated when it first came out, okay? And the reason why, it's a personal reason, but it's because I am in a high-risk group, okay? So if somebody was going to get sick, it's going to be me. So, and I got COVID, I think February of 2020. I was one of the first ones that I know of in my sphere who got it, and I felt like dog crap. I mean, really felt really sick. So, it is what it is, and so now I feel much better. So, which is great. Let's make a real quick pause here. We are starting a new campaign, folks. It's called Club 44, and Club 44 is a great program for early adopters, founders, stakeholders in Livin in Vegas magazine. So what we're doing, folks, is we're looking for 44 business owners who'd like to join hands with us at Livin in Vegas magazine to help us become a print media format. So right now, Livin in Vegas is digital. Livin Weekly is digital. I mean, we get out to a lot of people. There's no doubt about it. We get out to hundreds of thousands of people. But we really want to become a print media publication. And so we're looking for 44 business owners who will join hands with us and become advertisers in our first print edition of Livin in Vegas magazine, which we're scheduled for July. So we're pushing for July. Come hell or high water, we're going to get out there and do this. So time is running really quick. It's getting really short. If you want to become part of Club 44, real easy. Send me an email at info@livininvegas.com. That's info@livininvegas.com, and you can actually be a part of Club 44. Okay. There was something happened yesterday, and I want to make sure I get this in because I'm going to do this early. Okay, what time is it? Yeah, plenty of time. Okay, I want to get this in early. Yesterday, there was a anniversary that was celebrated that I didn't even think about it. I had no idea about it. But back in, when was it? 1988? I think it was 88. Yeah, 1988. So it's 34 years ago. There was out in Henderson, the Pepcon plant exploded. And many of you were here. Many of you remember PepCon back in those days. And if you don't, I'm going to show you a video that will remind you of what PepCon was like. Here, check it out. Okay.
Wow! Those son of a bitches are
How many of you
loud!
remember that? I'm going to show it to you one more time.
Wow!
See that shock wave that is going across the valley? I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, here we go. Let's try it one more time. See the shock wave
Wow! Those son of a
that is
bitches
going
are loud!
across the valley right there? Many of you remember that. The PepCon explosion was probably one of the, if not the one of the most memorable moments in Las Vegas history. One of them was the Bally's fire. Okay, the Bally's fire, which is on the Strip, which set the industry, changed the industry, the hotel industry, the big building industry. Now all buildings, high-rise buildings are required. Actually, I think all buildings are required to have, or commercial buildings, are required to have sprinklers in them as a result of the Bally fire, which happened when I was a kid also. But PepCon, which is basically, PepCon was a big, a fuel dump, basically, a fuel depot, did jet fuel and stuff like that. It happened happened 34 years ago yesterday. Bob Beers, really good friend of mine, is running for city council now. Was a city councilor, and he did all kinds of things. That is not an endorsement, even though he's a really good friend of mine. He posted it yesterday, and I went, "Oh my gosh, that happened! Oh my, I forgot all about it." And I looked it up to find the video of it. Now, this video, you would have thought that, oh yes, that video has been out for years. It hasn't. That's the crazy thing about it. Nobody even saw this video about the PepCon explosion. There were some engineers that happened to be up on the mountain over in Henderson, and they videotaped the entire thing. They saw and there's other videos out, so you can actually check these out. You can actually Google them on YouTube, and you can see the videos of the PepCon explosion. It was amazing. It was simply, homes were shaken. Some were off their foundations. Devastation all over the place. As a matter of fact, I got a picture of it. And this is a part of Las Vegas history that I just don't think anybody really thinks about. Here, I think there it is. Let's show this picture. Okay? That's what the aftermath of PepCon was. 2 gentlemen died as a result of it. One was wheelchair bound. Another one was trying to alert everybody that something was happening. 370 people were injured during this. Virtually all schools in the district went on lockdown. Traffic was at a standstill. Many were dazed and shocked by the shockwave. Now, I'll tell you, this was the shockwave. PepCon was not it wasn't just boom, okay, a little shaking. It went across the entire valley. I mean, across the entire valley. It's in Henderson. So Henderson and Lake Mead, that area. So Lake Mead and Boulder Highway area, okay, for lack of a better, to be closer to where it was at. The shock wave was so big that I lived in Northtown, Las Vegas, which is like Pecos and Las Vegas Boulevard. My awning to my home at the time in '88, people's awnings were blown off. They were just shaken. I mean, just shaken, physically shaken. And we're talking 20 miles away. And that thing just rocked everybody. So, wow, PepCon. Big deal, really, here in Vegas. So that was 34 years ago. And so we stand in observance of that because a lot of people got hurt. There's no doubt a lot of people got hurt. And we want to make sure that we take a moment to think about that. So yesterday they took a poll, and because it's election season, we want to definitely bring this out. They took a poll on what voters are thinking about top issues, the most trusted candidates for the 2022 election. There was a poll taken by one of the news outlets, I think it was Channel 8 News, and they polled 1,000 likely Republican voters or GOP voters, and they said, hey, we'll ask you some questions on how you feel about the election. What's your most important thing? And not surprisingly, the number one issue was the economy. Number two was immigration. Number three was education, crime, and then something else. The most trusted person they were talking about to handle the immigration was Adam Laxalt, and then Sam Brown, and then Sherelle Mendenhall. They're all great people. They're really good people. I met Sherelle. She's very nice people. I've met Adam too, but very nice people. On crime, the person who they believe could handle crime. Now, these guys are running for governor, these candidates. Current Sheriff Joe Lombardo was number one. Joey Gilbert, number two. Dean Heller was three. No, John Lee was three. And then Dean Heller brought up the rear. And then they asked the question, they said, do you trust the national media to accurately cover politics in the election? And, gosh, overwhelmingly they said no. No, they can't trust. 86% of people said, and that was here in Las Vegas. They said, no, we can't do it. And they said, do you trust local media to accurately cover? Okay, so nationally they said no, 86% said no. And they said, well, what about local news? And they said no. Local news, you can't trust them either. So 69%, so a plurality of people said no, they can't trust them. And so this was this is kind of insightful that, that Las Vegas tracks pretty close to what nationally happens in the world. And so it means we've got some work to do. We really do have some work to do in the media to help people to regain the trust that's been lost, basically. It's just been lost over the years. Well, we got another story here, folks. If you are looking for a job, folks, the Clark County Fire Department is hiring now. They are. Their applications are being accepted through the end of May. So we'll leave a link to this where you can actually get involved in the fire department. Also, I believe Metro is actually doing the same thing. So Metro is actually hiring too. So you've got a great shot to some great things. The Clark County Fire Department, those guys in the yellow, as opposed to the city. So the city of Las Vegas, I don't know. I wonder if we can find out when the city of Las Vegas. Okay, county's fantastic, but the city is where we want to be at. Those are where the bad boys are at. The city of Las Vegas. We will leave a link to the city's website, or excuse me, the county's website, their recruiting website, so that you can actually find out all about what's going on. We just got a couple more minutes. This is actually a pretty good story. Excuse me, drinking coffee. This is Caden Fioroni, and he earned the number one seed as an individual participant in the Stockton Regionals. So he's a sophomore out at UNLV, and you know us, folks. We love UNLV. So UNLV's men's golf sophomore Caden Fioroni will see his season continue after he was selected as an individual competitor in the 2022 NCAA postseason field, announced live on the Golf Channel Wednesday afternoon. So Caden's going to actually go to Southern Cal or Northern California, play as a top-seeded individual participant in the Stockton Regionals, and so we're very excited. I think people do not give UNLV enough credit for what they do. I mean, I know we've got so many cool things here in Vegas. We really do. And I will never take away from all of the cool professional guys that are out there doing some fantastic things out there. We've got the Raiders and the Aces And the Aces season starting in Monday. So the Las Vegas Aces, I'm going to tell you that real quick. Las Vegas Aces, our WNBA team, who are probably going to be the champs this year. Okay, you heard it here first. Okay, you heard it here on Livin in Vegas podcast first. The Las Vegas Aces are going to win. Mark Davis, you did a great job. You've pumped a bunch of money into the team, and I think you're really are putting out a great product now. And they were before, but they're going to win it this time. But UNLV is fielding some fantastic kids. They really are. Randall Cunningham, former UNLV quarterback, ended up playing for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now is a pastor here in town. His daughter went to the Olympics. She was in the Olympics as a high jumper. I know. And we've got another friend of mine. His daughter runs track for UNLV. She's doing fantastic. Our men's basketball is doing fantastic. Football, we're fielding a great team this year. Golf, tennis, our girls' softball was number 13 in the NCAA softball tournament that just happened. We're just flying high. I don't know what else to say about UNLV. And I found my hat too. So I store some of my hats in places, especially my special UNLV hat. I store them because they get kind of dirty, get kind of raunchy, but I love them and I keep them. So I wanted to make sure I kept it in a safe place. So I did, but I couldn't find it. So I found it yesterday when I was doing some searching for stuff. Back to Caden though. Caden's going to be he's going to be in Northern California to play top seed, which is set for May 16th at the Reserve at Spanos Park, which is cool. So we're very excited for him. He's going to be doing some fantastic things in the future. And the Silver Knights. Guess what, folks? Here's another one. The Henderson Silver Knights, and bet you didn't think they were doing anything. They're gearing up for the playoff chase right now, which is great. Henderson Silver Knights start the first round of playoffs against the affiliate team for the Colorado Avalanche, and that was yesterday. Did we win? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! So they're playing a 3-game series against them, anyways. So this will be great. I'm looking really forward to it. I'm going to check to see how they did. I got a link to their. Let's see if I got their link to the Henderson Silver Knights. Where's my link to them? I have a link to everybody. I'm gonna find out because I actually do have a link to them, and if I don't, I'm gonna find out. I'll let you know tomorrow about the Henderson Silver Knights if they won their first game against Colorado. Because I've got a friend of mine. She's a Colorado fan, and it's funny. She lives here in Vegas. I mean, she makes her living here, but she's a Colorado fan. Go figure, right? Go figure. Anyways, do I have time? I got 1 minute. I'm gonna look this up. I'm sorry. I've got to find out now. I've got to know if they won or not. So I'm going over to. Oh. So we lost game 1. So we lost game 1 5-2 to Colorado. It's all right. But we're going to we're bouncing back, folks. We're going. So I'll leave we're leaving links to all this stuff. And if you don't get any of this stuff, you don't get all the show and everything else, send us your email. Send it to info@livinvegas.com, and we will put you on our mailing list, and you'll get all this stuff. Okay, you really will. We generally post pretty much everything. The entire show is on our website, or we'll send you an email link that you can actually get all of this stuff. Okay, so it's really important that you stay up to date with what's going on in Vegas. Okay, once again, 2 things happening today. Cinco de Mayo. Go out and celebrate. Mexican, for us in Nevada, it's Mexican Independence Day. It's really not, but for us, celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Also, it's National Day of Prayer, folks. Definitely for praying folks, observe that. Go onto our website and you can actually get the links to where these celebrations are at, especially the National Day of Prayer. because it is a national holiday. It's one of the oldest, if not the oldest, in our nation's history. We will see you again tomorrow, folks, for Livin in Vegas magazine. Tomorrow is Friday, and we've got some cool things that we'll talk about. Okay. So, anyways, this has been Sherman Ray for Livin in Vegas podcast, where we'll talk about the people, the places, the trends, the events that shape the city of Las Vegas. When you think about living in Vegas, think about living local. Okay. We'll talk to you soon.